Okay, let's talk about a word that can make a lot of us, a little bit nervous. Negotiation. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? We're about to dive into how one tiny mental shift can turn this thing you dread into a seriously powerful opportunity.
So, let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where you held back from asking for what you really wanted? Maybe it was a raise at work, or hey, even just deciding where to go for dinner with friends. You knew what you wanted, but something just stopped you. That feeling? It's super common, and it's exactly where we're going to start.
So where does that hesitation come from? Well, it almost always boils down to one thing: the fear of asking. See, before we can even think about getting better at negotiating, we have to get real about what's holding us back. So let's take a closer look at that internal roadblock. You know that little voice in the back of your head, right? The one that starts whispering, is this too much? Am I asking for too much? That one thought, that one question can be totally paralyzing. We're so afraid of being seen as pushy or demanding that we just shrink our own ambitions before we even say them out loud. But here's the thing. What if that fear is based on a complete myth? Let's just tackle this idea head on. We're going to expose this too bold idea for what it really is. Let's find out what actually happens when you have the courage to ask. And this is the disconnect between what we're afraid of and what really happens. We worry that asking for what we want is going to make us seem too bold. But the truth? It's often the exact opposite. Daring to ask doesn't push people away, it actually earns their respect. So the moment you push past that fear, you start to unlock the real power of asking. And this is about way more than just getting what you want. It's actually an act of standing up for yourself, of self-advocacy. And that comes with some pretty incredible rewards.
Think about it. When you ask, you're sending out these three really powerful signals. First, you're showing you have clarity. You know what you want. Second, you have courage. You're willing to stand up for it. And third, and this is the big one, you're demonstrating you know your own worth. That combination, that's what opens doors you didn't even know existed. Let's just use the classic example, a salary negotiation. If you don't ask for the number that you believe truly reflects your value, you are leaving a massive opportunity on the table. And it's not just about the money, right? It's about setting the standard for your value from day one. This quote just nails that high-stakes reality perfectly. So how do we make this way of thinking stick? Well, it takes a total reframe of what negotiation even means. We have to completely change the picture that pops into our heads when we hear that word.
Okay, if you remember one thing from this, let it be this. Negotiation is not a battle. It is not a fight. It's not a zero-sum game where one person wins and the other loses. It's just a dialogue. That's it. It's a conversation to find an outcome that works for everyone. Seeing it that way, it changes everything.
And here's why that dialogue approach works so well. Because value isn't objective, it's subjective. Something that's hugely valuable to you, like maybe having flexible work hours, might be a really small, easy thing for your company to give. What you're asking for might not actually cost them very much at all. The dialogue is how you discover those spots where you can both win.
All right, so we've unpacked the fear, we've busted the myth, and we've totally reframed the idea. Now for the most important part. How do you actually put this into practice? Let's make it super simple.
Honestly, it all comes down to this little three-step mantra. Number one, go in remembering it's just a dialogue. Number two, do your homework. Know your worth. And number three, take a deep breath and just dare to ask.
And when you do that, when you walk in with clarity, with confidence, and with the spirit of collaboration, the outcome can be way better than you ever imagined. You're creating a chance to hear a yes where silence would have guaranteed a no. So we'll leave you with this question. Now that you can look at negotiation as a dialogue instead of a battle, what do you think? How might that change things the next time you have a chance to ask for what you really, truly want?